90 Day Fiance, episode 4, called Breast Intentions. She loves doing that. Let's see. All right, so this episode starts off with Kobe and Emily. So they get into a fight about breastfeeding. And he says that it's inappropriate. So she is sitting in her living room breastfeeding in front of her family, in front of him. And he's like, yo, this is kind of inappropriate to be breastfeeding in front of your family. And plus, I think you've been breastfeeding for too long. Like, he should be off the breast by now.
Off the tete.
Off it. And I'm not sure how long you're supposed to breastfeed. I guess I've heard anywhere from a year, 8 months to a year to 2 years.
Let us know what you think, though.
Yeah, let us know what is the correct time that the baby should be off the titas, the tetas, the tatas.
Because we know that breast milk is very, very good for you. Obviously, it's how children build their immune system, right? So how long is is there such a thing as too long? Really and truly, if it's that nutrient dense and if it's like nothing else in the world, it's that liquid gold, as they call it. Let us know.
Liquid gold, yes it is. Yes indeed. And so they're kind of getting kind of an argument. They get into an argument about it. And her reason for doing it is because it's not hurting nobody. And her family don't care. And she's in her home doing it. And I think his side is that it's not normal after, he's saying that from what he knows in his country of Cameroon, women breastfeed from 8 to 12 months. And it should be off. And plus, he needs to bond with his son, and if the son is still, on the mother's tetas, how is he gonna get bonded time? And 3, he's trying to, wean the baby off. The baby should be sleeping in his own room, by a year, because after 6 months, he should be like in his own room. And he's like, we can't get it in with baby gotta sleep with us, and I don't want to be sharing no breasts with my baby. I love breasts. I love breasts too. And so that's his thing. Like, he don't want to be sharing. And he thinks that 8 to 10 months max. And yeah, what I didn't like about this is the father interjected in their little tip. I understand it's the father's house, but it's still their family. It's all a family, but it's their little family. And it's kind of like, now I'm sure Kobe feels like it's them against me. It's easy to be like, I mean, they should be trying to make him feel welcome and part of the family, but it's still kind of separate with this issue. The father jumps in and says, the longer the better. That's regarding breastfeeding. Like, father, just shut up, get out of it. Like, let them handle it. They're adults. You're paying the bills, but still, it's their decision to make. And he's gonna marry her, so he's acting like a husband, right? He's giving her directions. And what you don't know about marrying certain women, is they are not gonna treat you like a man. They
so
are
you
going to.
Speaking from experience?
No, well, I'm just observing.
Okay.
So I'm just like, why is the father interjecting, and why? I mean, don't she listen to him? Because he told her before he got there that he wanted to bond with the child. And don't you know, like, giving him some time to bond with him, you got to get him off the breast. Just pump the milk, give him the bottle. You can still breastfeed him, but with the bottle. He should be on bottle. Not saying that he can't get no breast milk. You don't got to put him on formula. Just pump the breast into the bottle, give him the bottle. He should be on a bottle by now. Like after a year or up to a year.
I don't know.
You got to practice later. So, yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. You know, that's why I want the viewers to chime in. I'm not a mom yet, so I don't know. I do know that it's liquid gold and that it's important to breastfeed, but I don't know what the appropriate time length is. I feel like the only thing that I really have a strong opinion on is that it should be breast milk over anything else, preferably, right? And also, I would say that, yeah, the bed, the sharing of the bed, I don't think that that is healthy. So I think it's really important to get kids to become independent, to learn how to self-soothe, rather. Not independent, but I mean, it's important to babies to learn how to self-soothe, I think. Self-soothe and cope and manage earlier on.
Yeah, and this is a problem why they need their own space. If they become a family, like right now, she's got reinforcement. She's got, you know, all this team behind her. So it's her and her family against him. He's the man, so, you know, if she wants to be with him, she wants him to be the father, and they're gonna get married. And she gotta understand, like, let the man lead.
Yeah.
Right? It's not gonna hurt you taking the baby, because this baby is all over the tits. All day.
At the dinner table, in bed, is constantly.
Constantly, like, that baby is becoming a real mother's boy. And I think, low-key, she wants that. Like, she wants the baby so dependent on her. Because I think, subconsciously, she probably thinks that he ain't gonna be around for a while. Because what she knows from dealing with the two black guys in town, she probably, I think low-key, she probably thinks, you know, maybe this might not work.
Ouch. That's horrible.
Yeah, and I'm just, the subtle things I picked up on is the father, he also said that when the cameras was on him and he was explaining how he felt about them arguing about the breastfeeding, he was like, yeah, Kobe was forceful, and he was strong-willed and forceful. Strong-willed and forceful? How was he forceful? He was just commenting on what he believes should happen with his own child.
Right.
It's still his child too. And I think it's just the unconscious, like, what you call it, stereotypes that comes for black men. Is saying, oh yeah, he's just trying to control you. But on the other hand, Kobe was like, you're being controlling. He's talking to Emily, like talking about, like, trying to just dismiss him and shut him up. She's giving him instructions to go cook with her mom just to shut him up. And he's like, wait a minute. How you gonna, like, just try to control the situation and dismiss me to the kitchen? It's a whole bunch of things wrong with this whole dynamic.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's why, like, certain men gotta watch out with the people they date or get involved with.
Co-create. Not saying that this was a mistake. Obviously, all children are a blessing. Coleman is gorgeous and beautiful. We're just saying, be mindful, because the differences in cultures and backgrounds. You know, he comes from a very patriarchal society. In Africa, women have a very specific role, men have a very specific role. here in the West that things tend to get, you know, a little bit blurred lines, if you will.
Yeah.
I say that here in the West, but actually we're giving you this recap review from Lagos, Nigeria.
Yeah, actually, in a African country, a West African country,
Nonetheless.
which is where he's from.
And we see it. I mean, I see it a lot here. Just to take a small, short detour and tangent, you know, I feel like sometimes the men don't want to speak to me, and they want to speak directly to Ishé. Just something that I don't really encounter, you know, in the U.S. or in Canada. So it's well, in the West, period, really.
Yeah, the
So,
man is the man.
The man is the man.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's not like, you know, you don't have to think of every man as being trying to just be in control and just telling you what to do without you know, it's just, it is nature. I think it's more nature, and you have to be trusting. Like, you have to be trusting of the person you're with. You trust them that they're not gonna lead you wrong, down the wrong way. So he's saying that you guys are being disrespectful to me and trying to control me because I'm in your country. Like, I'm in America, so you think you can just tell me what to do and just boss me around. This is supposed to be my family. You got these people over here. I know we in a house, but you guys knew this before I got here. Like, you can't expect me. I can't even legally work until 90 days, so you shouldn't be treating me like that, is what I gathered from that. But that whole situation, I'm already seeing, like, I know he loves her, and I think she loves him, but she's young. I mean, and he's trying to get the family together. And it was a couple of things that he said he asked her to do before he got there, which she didn't do. Like, he was saying, if the bed is too small, get a bigger bed before I get there. I mean, it's your country. You're there. You can go ahead and get a bigger bed.
But she's not employed. She works as a nanny with very limited income.
Yeah, she's not, but you know, a bed ain't that much. Or she can get a loan from her parents, and she, you know, she can pull it off. They can trade the bed. She can pull it off. She just, I don't know. She probably didn't think he knew what he was talking about. I don't know. And I was hopeful for them, but I'm really not hopeful now because of her, and then her parents are in their business. You know, he's trying to have a conversation directly with her, and she's up there like, basically, screw you. I do what I want. We in my house. We in my family's house. I don't gotta listen to you. Like, and that's another thing. If you don't have a job and you can't provide, like, it's good luck getting a woman to really listen to you.
Right.
Because it's a subconscious thing, I think. You know, like, who are you? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you know. So, anything else you want to say about that? Okay. So our next couple, they go to Bilal and Shaeeda. This is kind of weird and awkward. I liked them at the beginning, but now I'm like, I don't know about them now. I think there's, as we speak, this is just airing, but you know, it's been maybe a year, so I'm assuming they're still together. But anyway, as far as this episode goes, this is where she first meets his kids. She's supposed to be stepmom. Umi. She wants the kids to call her Umi right away. And they're like, we need to work up to that. Like, just pump your brakes. And she's like, in my culture, in my country, you know, the bonus mom is called Umi. But yeah, I mean, that's different because it's like, if you and the father had a kid, and with his kids, yeah, it's easier for them to start doing that. But right now, you really just a girlfriend or fiance. You're not really mom yet. Like, once they get married, it might make sense. So, yeah, she wants them to call her mom or Umi. And Bilal, he's a weirdo. He's just a strange kind of guy. I think he is not strange in like not strange, like peculiar. He is really smart, it seems like. So he's just, I don't know, I would say more goofy than anything. Like he's not no hood, what you call it? He called himself hood bougie. He ain't hood at all. Yeah, he's a regular Poindexter, basically. You know, he's a buster. So that's my word. That's what I feel about him. No, that's what I know about him. He was this meeting was awkward because the kids came in and she was just like waiting in the kitchen. Like she didn't go to the door to meet them. She waited till they come in. You could hear the ring doorbell, ding dong, and then they came in. And she was like she was so nervous. She was like acting like she was cleaning and then waiting for them to come in. Did you see that? It was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
What to expect as you, because you kind of come into that situation just a little bit. It's different, but it's kind of the same.
Yeah, I think that for me, when you first meet somebody who's about to become family, it's great to quote unquote break bread. So I think, to have had some food out or something, some snacks. She didn't need to cook, but even like some crackers or veggies, some hummus or fresh food, you could have sat at the table and kind of just chatted instead of standing awkwardly around the island table. For me, would have been a nice way for them to break bread before trying to get into conversations about how she should be referred to, etc., etc.
If she would have acted like a mom, that would have been a mom thing to do. It would have made them more comfortable.
Drinks. Let's all sit down. Let's get to know each other. There's a reason why there's that saying, right? It's important to break bread with people that you want to have a good and long-term relationship with.
Yeah, I mean, she don't have to. I mean, that would have been cool too if she had an apron on and she was cooking. Like, that's mom.
Yeah.
Do some mom things to have them call you mom. I know she's not a mom, but just find out what things they like and have that at the table when they come in.
Yeah, because everyone, not just men, but the way to everyone's heart is through their stomach. I think men and women, boys and girls, everyone enjoys good food. So if you just had some things out, I think it would have been really welcoming also to them, me personally. And as far as like her cooking up a big meal, that will come over time. She's not trying to step into the role of their mother. They obviously have a mother who they live with full time. But just as a means of saying, because that's an expression of love when you prepare something, right? Like I enjoy cooking. I enjoy cooking now, by the way, because I'm doing it for him, his son, myself, right? It was when I was in Brooklyn, guys. I mean, Postmates,
everything.
The delivery, or just eating out, hanging out with friends, or eating out on my own was the thing because, well, for one, Brooklyn is so expensive, even the groceries, that you don't get a huge savings when it comes to shopping for one anyways. And I'm the kind of person, as is Ishé, by the way, that can get 2 or 3 meals out of one takeaway order. But what I'm saying is now that, I have more of a family structure, I enjoy cooking it because why? For me, it's an expression. I use my hands to prepare meals that are nurturing and loving as a way to express my love to you.
Yeah. Plus, it's an awkward age being a tween. So the kids are tweens. So they kind of in the rebellious mode, but they're good kids. So they're not like outwardly, because when she said, call me Umi, it's like, we don't know how we feel about that. I'm okay, like, working up to it, but it's gonna have to be some time. We'll see how it goes. You just not gonna start off that way. And Bilal kind of makes a joke, and he's like, well, what kind of nicknames can we give her? What and then she asks, what do they call their mom's husband, because their mom remarried, so they call him by his first name. They don't call him dad.
I think when you have 2 parents that are both equally involved, which is the case for Bilal and his ex, the kids have their bases and their parents covered.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's anything wrong.
There's no need to.
Yeah, I don't think there's any disrespect in the kids just referring to you by your name. Me personally. But I guess it's a deeply personal thing. you know. But if one parent was absent, or God forbid one parent was deceased, that'd be different, because then you really would be stepping into that role.
Yeah.
But like you said, you know, their mom is their primary caregiver, so, you know, Shaeeda, is that how you pronounce it? She's really the soon-to-be wife of their father, and maybe it's just on the weekends or alternating weekends when the kids will be over there. So her role is less of the nurturer, hands-on nurturer and caregiver. She's there to show them a good time, you know, give them structure, give them love, show up for them if they need anything, you know, have fun with them. She gets to be a little bit more playful, actually. She has a little bit more range in that, because she doesn't have to worry so much about the discipline, because both their parents are present.
By the way, it's funny that you said she gets to be playful, because they wanted her to play games with her, with them. So they don't, like, she looks young, you know, she's 37, but she looks young. So right off, she's not giving mom vibes, she's giving girlfriend vibes. So, but you know, she kind of lets them down, because she's like, I'm not into games. I don't play games. Like, I don't know how to play games. I'm not playful. You know, I think she should have said, y'all want to do some yoga?
That's what I do.
I would teach you, let me teach you some yoga, you know. She could have flipped it around and to be just more interactive with them. So it was just really weird. And then the kids put Bilal and her on the spot by saying, are y'all gonna have kids? And I guess Bilal kind of like, it's one of his things when he got with her, like, yeah, I wouldn't mind having 2 more kids. But now, when he got her in the States, he's kind of like, maybe we could think about it. You know, he said whatever he could say to get her, probably. You know, I don't know. And now she's mad about that because he flip-flopped. Like, look, you said when we got together, if we got married, we definitely had kids. I'm 37, I wanted kids. You know that. Now you flip-flopping, like, in front of your kids. Like, so I think he might be scared to say in front of his kids that he wants to have more kids, because, you know, that could be kids are like, he's gonna be taken away from us because he's gonna have a new family. You know, kids don't understand. They just, you know, they just think that way sometimes. And it is what it is with that.
I agree.
You know, new family, new kids. They could have anxiety about it. You know, that's their dad, and they probably don't know. But you know, they probably don't know anything else. Their mother didn't have a new kid with their father, so they just want it like that. You know, that family structure. They got bonus mom, they got bonus dad. Okay, so next one is Binyam and Ari. Man, I still, like, they could have got another couple. Like, I'm tired of seeing them. They arrive at JFK, they arrive in New York, and yeah, he's asking, the parents meet them at the airport, and there was one scene, I think they were either at home or in the car or in front of the camera, and he was like, he's kind of worried about, you know, how everybody's going to treat him, you know, in the States, because he's away from, you know, Africa. And she kind of digs like, well, nobody's going to throw wine in your face, I'll tell you that. So I'm like, oh, this ain't over. She ain't going to never forget about that. Yeah.
No, the problems will be a lot more subtle and covert and less overt.
They're going to be, what you call it, passive aggressive, like a mug. That's the way. That's the way a lot of people are.
Especially towards minorities, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening at Kobe and Emily's house. She's being aggressive. The parents are being passive aggressive. Because even the parents is like, I can't believe him. I can't believe he's doing this. Like, everybody got a way they want to run their family, you know. She want to get married to him, let them have it. Like, if he was just her boyfriend, then that's different. But they actually engaged. and they on this process.
With the fake diamond ring.
He
Emily
got-
brought that up, the fake diamond ring, which
Oh.
I didn't think was necessary.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of a low blow. I mean, the guy got what he could afford, okay? And honestly, in Africa, we don't even do that. You know, I know I live in the West, but, you know, being from Eritrea, it's in our culture, you actually get, when you are proposed to, you're actually given a gold band. Like the wedding band that's known as your wedding band in the West is what you're presented with. So, because, you know, this whole you need to have a rock and a diamond, that's 2 months' salaries worth, which I'm not entirely against if you have it and you want to do it. But I'm saying it shouldn't be the expectation, because if you've ever seen the show, on True TV, Adam Ruins Everything, which is hilarious.
Yep.
Tune
I used
in.
to watch that with the kids.
Right, the very first season, the very first episode of the very
Diamonds.
first season was the whole De Beers and how they came up with this whole marketing campaign and created a culture based on their marketing campaign that you should give a rock, meaning that even in the West, prior to that campaign rolling out, women weren't getting diamond rings.
Yeah, they
Right.
started with that. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Right, and instead, actually, the money that was being exchanged was the man's side, so the groom's side would pay a dowry to the bride's side as a gesture of thanks for raising a well-mannered, educated, domesticated, and intelligent, sensible woman. Basically, it was an appreciation of the token. It was a token as an appreciation, as a means of showing appreciation for showing, for raising a good woman. Really is what it is, which is actually makes more sense if you think about it than wasting it on a diamond ring. Because have you ever tried to resell an engagement ring? Anyone? Those of you that have, put it in the comments below.
Yeah.
They'll let you know that if you spent $20,000 at Tiffany's, you're not getting that money back.
Yeah.
It does not carry its weight.
Yeah.
So that's why for me it was a low blow. I didn't care for it.
Yeah. She keep doing that. Like her biggest thing is a ring, instead of.
They don't even live on their own.
Yeah. Like how about jobs?
Yeah,
apartments,
that comes before. The wedding
daycare.
comes before you guys getting your own
Education.
place and everything else that he's just like. Anyways, neither here nor there.
All right. So now we go to Patrick and Thais. Thais. Oh yeah. She's hot. She's a hot mama.
She's a gorgeous girl, boy.
Yeah. He
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So this is the day where he's gonna pick her up from the airport, and his gesture for her, like welcome to America, is to buy her a nice cuddly little puppy, one of those toy dogs.
A toy dog.
Yeah. I don't know what they call them toys, I think.
I've not heard that before, but I can see how they could be referred to as toy dogs.
Yeah,
That's the
they're
kind of
kinda
dog I
like
would
toys.
want.
Yeah, they kind of like, keep them in your purse.
Mhm.
You can travel with them. But they showed her in Brazil, and the whole going away, and her dad was in a bad. He was not feeling good about this because it's his daughter. He's really overprotective about his kids, and she couldn't even tell him that she was moving to the States to marry this guy, this American, because he thinks all Americans are just, they just out to get sex from the girl and they not good or whatever. So she had to lie and just say she's gone just to stay with him for a few weeks or a month or whatever. And he was not in a good spirits about it. He was crying and stuff. So he has a real close relationship with his daughter, but she has to be a woman. So his overprotectiveness is pretty bad. But she's also like, I'm not, I can move back to Brazil. I can take USA and leave it, or take it or leave it. I'm not just, I'm not one of those people just trying to get to America. I love my country and I can go back. We'll
That's
see.
a good position to be in.
Yeah.
Because we've seen people on the show that come from almost nothing, really dire circumstances or war-torn countries, etc. So it's refreshing to see someone who's like, I love my life, I love my country, I love being with my family. So, you know, America's great. Yeah, we've heard wonderful things about it, but
Yeah, she is really, she's got a good family structure. Even though her parents are divorced, but they still help each other.
yeah, and she has lunch with her grandmother every day. Like, how wonderful is that?
Yeah,
She could have had a great life even in Brazil if she married in Brazil, because then she would have been able to keep that up, introduce her children, her future children, to her grandmother who would help in, pitch in, you know, her parents who would pitch in, because, you know, there's that you know, with
Close-knit.
with Latin cultures, they're very close-knit, just like African families are just really, really close-knit. And they are into the whole, it takes a village, right, to raise a family, to raise a child.
yeah, and you know, Patrick, his family structure is you know,
The opposite.
it's been fractured.
Mm.
So he has his brother living with him, and she already don't like him for whatever reason. It's really weird that she haven't met him really, and she already don't like him, and they only met each other on FaceTime. I guess I get her point when kind of get her point. You know, like they need privacy. Like all couples need privacy when they get together. You know, when you got all these other people in the middle, it's kind of hard to focus on y'all too. So then they go to Guillermo and Kara. Yeah, I don't know about this couple either.
More passive aggressiveness.
Yeah, and she's controlling. Like she got her a young guy. She knows that his life is already, like, she just made his life better. She changed his life for the better.
Mm-hmm. She likes to remind him of that too.
Yeah, she's gonna keep that over his head as long as they're together.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to meet her mom. She's going to introduce Guillermo to her family, which consists of her mom and her brother, and her uncle, who is like a father to her. Guillermo is worried because she's been telling him some very crazy stuff about her uncle, because he's an overprotective uncle, and he was a private investigator. So Guillermo is easy to mess with.
Intimidate.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what
He's
she
only
wanted to do.
23 though, to be fair.
He's a young kid.
He's a young kid. He hasn't had a lot of life experience. So.
A 23-year-old man, the same as being 18.
100%, which makes it even worse.
Yeah.
That she is holding this over his head and trying to kind of control him by fear.
Yeah.
I wonder where else that happens in life. We had that in the recent years?
We had that in the
Experienced anything
last
like
3
that?
years.
Huh.
Fear.
Anyways, carry on.
Yeah. All right. So it's the same thing with this couple. They're telling these guys, "Oh, how are you going to provide when you don't have a job?" It's like, come on, man, give these guys a break. Like, if your daughters pick these guys from overseas, then give the guys a break. They know what they need to do. You don't have to keep drilling it in their head like they just coming over here gonna be a bum. But I kind of get it though. You like, yeah, we don't know. Everybody wants to be in America, blah blah blah. That's not the case. That's just not the case. Not everybody wants to be in America. Hell, we can't even spend our American dollars over here. They don't even want the dollars.
Good on you, Nija. Good on you.
Yeah. So
Disentangle, or is it unentangle? I think it's dis, right?
this, what's it called? Entanglement.
So-
Detangle.
There we go. Last night I kept saying dis and untangle. Sorry. Detangle yourselves from the American dollar and economy.
Right.
Have sovereignty and true independence.
Yeah, and this uncle is scary. I mean, he's scary for Guillermo, because Guillermo is falling into it. Like, I would just ignore him. If it was me, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. You ain't scaring me. You ain't scaring me. I know what you're doing. You're trying to intimidate me. And it's not gonna work. So just try it somewhere else. But he is falling for it since he's a private investigator, and he's trying to bully him a little bit. He's saying he like him, but then he's like, yeah, I already checked all your social medias. I ain't see nothing, but I'm still keeping my eye on you. Like, come on, man. Come on. So he's looking, like the uncle's gonna look for a sign, you know, any inconsistency he's gonna bring up. And so now we go to Mohamed and Yve's.
Eve.
Eve. All right, so
Like peppers.
Peppers, yeah,
Dr.
Peppers. So Yve, yeah. So this is their first morning. Mohamed's waking up. He's a 25-year-old. She's 48.
That's 23 years difference.
23 years. He wakes up. They both wake up. She's like, "Oh, I gotta go to work." He's like, "Wait a minute, where's my breakfast?" That was the funniest thing ever. He was like, "Hey, I expect a woman to cook my breakfast in the morning." And she's like, "Well, somebody gotta work. I gotta go to work. You on your own." He in there cracking eggs. And he's just coming to this country thinking like, yeah, woman's gotta take care of me like my mom did.
Because he was living with who?
His mom, his family.
Right. This is his first time not living at home, and he just moved in with an older woman who's probably close in age to his mom.
Yeah, like he wasn't.
Eve, you're a beautiful woman, fit, all the rest of that, but he could be your son.
This is a mistake.
He could be your son.
This is.
And I'm not really sure
a
how you see
Muslim
the
man.
future.
A Muslim man on top of that, like.
I get it. The sex is delicious. It's wonderful. It's juicy, gooey, all that good stuff. Have sex with him, but to presume that there's an actual future there, I mean, if you could listen, if you prove me wrong, I'm happy. Honestly, I will be happy for you because I think that you're a lovely person with a huge heart and you deserve to be happy. I'm just really wondering how it is that you can see this going for the next 20, even 10 years, 30, 40, 50 years. I just, help me to see that because you are a peer.
Look, when he gets 50,
with his parents.
When he gets 50, she's gonna be like almost 80.
Right. And
I'm 50. Do it look like I want to be with an 80-year-old?
Right. And he'll not have had children of his own. So, and unless he's expressed that to you, unless he's expressed that with no, like with complete certainty and no hesitation that he just doesn't ever want to have kids, which is hard to believe given the culture that he comes from, which is hard to believe also that his family will accept that, to be honest with you. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I mean, let me run my comment back. I guess maybe there are some men who want to be with older women, even when they're older. You know, maybe 60-year-olds don't mind being with 80-year-old women. I don't know. Maybe 50-year-olds don't mind being with 80. But I'm just saying, like coming from his country, where he's expected to have a family, kids,
and be the head of the household. And
it's not. I don't see that happening. I don't see where he's ever gonna make more money than her in the States, unless, I mean, we don't know about him really. I don't know what kind of skills he has. I don't know if he needs to go to school. I don't know if he has money, but right now it's not looking too good.
Just based on a pure surface, and like he said, there's more information that we would need on Mohamed, but it's not looking, it's just, the thing is, could Yve really ever truly concede to being either partners or led by somebody who was born when she was already an adult, and a fully grown adult at that? Could she ever concede to that, really and truly? And
with the with the kid that she has, special needs, now he's gonna end up being he's gonna have to take care of the kid while she works.
They're what, 13 years apart? Her child and her fiance? I don't. You seem too sweet to be putting yourself through this. I would hate for this to end poorly. I really would. Like, Eve just seems like such a nice woman who's already been through a lot, who already has a lot on her plate. She has a son that's going to need her his entire life. Yeah. Who's going to be dependent on her his entire life. So she already has a lot on her plate.
And she expressed to Mohamed what she said is she has trouble with childcare. So she's gonna need somebody to help.
Your husband is not your babysitter.
You're neither, yeah. Yeah.
Your husband is not your babysitter. I don't know. I'm hoping that we find out something down the line that changes how this all appears to us right now. But right now, I'm genuinely concerned for Yve, and I'm really surprised that she's taken it this far. Really, really surprised.
Yeah.
I would have been happier for her to just fly back every few months and get it in with him, and just keep it a fling. Me personally.
Yeah, I mean that would have been better than creating this whole situation that might end up in ashes.
How is he even going to be around your group of friends?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be able to be around her peers because he's not going to be able to contribute, and he's not going to contribute to anything to any conversations because he's strict Muslim. Women be with women, men be with men. Women can't be with other men, vice versa. Yeah, it's I don't. This ain't looking good to me.
Surprise us, Yve. Tell us something about Mohamed that will change this whole thing around, please.
Yeah.
Because I really like you. Compared to other women who I've seen make similar decisions on this show, I like you the most.
Yeah, she's a good one to have compared to a lot of the women that's been on these seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see her with a younger man being physical.
Yeah.
I could see her with another man. If she didn't have kids, it might work out a little better. But
still, the 25, maybe with like a 37 or a 40-year-old. I don't know about a 23
maybe
or 25.
40 would be good.
40 would be good because she's still hot, very attractive. We get that, but
she can get a young 40.
Marrying a 25-year-old Yve.
Yeah, that's really, I don't know, it's something. So now we go back to Kobe and Emily.
Wait, can I just say one thing? Also, Ishé, being a seasoned man of a particular age, who also got married in his 20s, will tell you he does not encourage young men to get married in their 20s.
No.
This is coming from somebody who's done it, who's lived it, and he turned out to regret it. He wished that he had waited later.
Yeah.
Right? Because for him, it was just merely too young. It had nothing to do with the partner that he chose. It was that he was just too young.
Yeah. I thought I was old, but I was young as heck. I was, young, and before I got married, my whole thing was I was always telling myself I was gonna wait till I got 35 to be married. I got married at 26, and it lasted for a bit, but it just wasn't right. All right, so now we already spoke about them. So yeah, we already talked about them. So we go back to Bilal and Shaeeda. Yeah, she just speaking to her sister about Bilal flip flopping, and her sister's kind of like a mom. She's like, you need to just tell him to stop with all this surprise about the kid thing, and just either be a man about it or just forget this whole thing. Yeah, she was really emotional about it because she wanted to be a mom, and yeah, it's for her. She thinks it's not gonna happen now because he's not being direct and saying, yeah, we're gonna have kids. So at first, and then it's like, if he does say we're gonna have kids, he's like moving the goalposts like from a year to 2 years. So it's not looking good for them. So
by the way, this is somebody who met her and knew her for 7 days before buying her an engagement ring and taking on the K1 process. So you already started this whole let's move quickly, and the only thing that kept you guys apart was C19. Otherwise she would have already been your wife. So she's actually lost 2 years, right, if I'm not mistaken, due to C19. But you were comfortable enough to propose to her and put a ring on it after 7 days. So why hesitate now? You guys have already lost two years. You're not lost, but you've been delayed, right, by 2 years in your plans. So to me it seems even reckless that you had an engagement ring after only having spent a total of 7 days with her. But if these are the moves that you're making, then go full throttle.
Yeah.
You're gonna go ahead, go hard. Like I don't understand now why you're trying to,
roll it back.
Yeah, to like, yeah, exactly. You know,
Like going back on your word.
Because it's crazy that you even proposed to her after only having spent 7 days with her. If we're being honest.
That's why I think he's kind of a strange guy, because he is like everything else he thinks about and you know studies and plans and strategizes, but this is just like, you know, I don't know. He's got the big house, nice house. I'm kind of thinking like, if you don't want another family, then why are you still living in the house? Let's get an apartment or a condo. But again,
you can definitely scale it down. Yeah. If you don't want to start a new family.
And his house is nice, so I'm thinking maybe he don't want to start all over with the kids. You know, his kids tear up stuff. He's OCD. He has to go back to that. You know, like Shaeeda's sister said, like he's already had his life. He's had his kids, his family, his marriage, his house, and everything. And now he brought her into his life, and he knows what she wants, but now he's not trying to give it to her. He's being selfish. That's what her sister is pretty much saying, right?
Yeah.
So back to Mohamed and Yve's. He finally meets Yve's son, special needs. He's got Down syndrome and autism, and a bad heart. He's in bad health, but he looks pretty good physically. But
he's very
just
joyful.
Yeah.
Very happy child.
Yeah, but he's severely autistic. So he feels like already Mohamed feels like, oh, I'm gonna be a babysitter. Like that's what it's gonna be, because she's like, well, I need you to be with him. But does he live with her? She's the primary caregiver, right?
Yeah, I don't think the dad is in the picture. I think that's why she's struggling.
No, I think he has visitation, but he's not helping out. He's not helping out like financially, probably. I think the kid goes with the father on the weekends or one weekend a month or something. It's not a real good visitation. Like the father's not hands-on like Bilal and his ex-wife. So he's gonna be a stay-at-home mom at 25.
So that means that regardless of what the situation is, whether he's in the picture or he's there once a month or he's there once in a while, basically it's making Mohamed having to step into that role in a way that Shaeeda doesn't have to step into the motherly role.
Yeah.
Right? So how we were saying, like, Bilal's kids have both parents still very much in the picture, regardless of the fact that they're no longer together. Yve doesn't have that. Whatever configuration is there, she's basically relying on Mohamed to step up and take care of a child that's special needs, that's not his, when he's not even fully grown yet.
Yeah.
He's 25. He might as well be 20.
Yeah. Frontal lobe isn't developed.
And he's lived at home.
He's been at home.
So he doesn't know anything about being independent, running a budget, household, being in charge.
Yeah. She's gonna have another kid.
That part. Who just happens to sleep in the bed with you.
And give you whatever. Back to Binyam and Ari. Parents bought them an apartment.
No, rented it out.
Rented them an apartment. Nice apartment, a big apartment in a nice neighborhood. They're trying to make everything comfortable for her and the kid. They want the kid to have a good life, because they know Binyam ain't gonna be able to contribute much within the 90 days. And then after that, I mean, he was in the arts, entertainment. So I think he's gonna pursue the fighting arena, like MMA, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's good, but I don't know, because that's a hard move, man. That is a move. But Ari is complaining because the apartment costs so much, and she's like, oh, yeah, well, if you guys didn't get us such an expensive apartment and with all this stuff and this cable and bills and stuff. Like I could have did something different. I don't know, man. I can't watch it, man. She's what do you think about her?
I think this couple is annoying AF, and we've seen enough of them. Let's move on.
All right. So we go to Patrick and Tice. They meet at the airport. He's got Tesla. He's good. What he did? Got the facial. What do you say he got?
Okay.
He's a
so,
metrosexual.
Listen, let me be very clear. I get people men today are really about their self-care, facials, cupping, waxing, all the rest of that. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I get it. It's the metrosexual thing to do. Listen, I lived in New York for too many years to count, so I understand all of that. But for me personally, maybe it's because I'm a particular age. I get it. I'm much older than Thais. No, I don't like it. I'm just kidding. It's not a turn on for me. I don't want to know what you've gone through. It's because the same way I don't feel the need to express to you what I have to do as a woman to groom myself. Some things are better left as a mystery, you know? Just show up looking put together and well, and like well groomed. Because for me personally, again, and I know that this has to do with generation and age. It's not something that I grew up on, so it's not really a turn on for me. It really isn't. Like a man like we saw a few seasons ago on also 90 Day Fiance, who went to Colombia to be with a girl who was like, oh, I don't do anything around the house. I'm the kind of guy that gets manicures. That kind of stuff drives me up.
Arch eyebrows. What's that dude's name?
I don't know. He does the pillow talk still.
Yeah.
No diss to you, sir, whoever you are. Like, I mean, that's your thing. And again, I completely understand that it's a generational thing. But for me, I just wish that you guys would keep certain things to yourself, because as a woman, I keep certain things to myself. It's okay to have some mystery. You don't have to share everything. Do the best to keep yourself fit, healthy, and in shape and looking great and put together, but don't share everything that you do, because I don't know if maybe for her, even though she's young, she still does come from a kind of a macho Latino background. But then again, the Dominicans, they do all that. I don't know, guys. I don't know. You guys, let me know what you guys think. I'd be really curious. It's like, it's a conundrum, because I feel like some women could really be into that, but I feel like other women could be turned off by it. Probably a lot of it depends too on Thais's dad, because that would have been the role model for her. I don't know if he's the kind of guy that does plumbing, gets down and dirty, is a carpenter, you know what I mean? Or if
he looked like he was a worker.
He does look that way. So if she grew up with a man like that in the household, then that's going to be her prototype, right? Like my father's prototype did not get manicures, did not get his eyebrows done, you know, and I'm great with that. I'm really, really great with that, because for me, it's like you're competing with the woman. I think the woman is meant to be prettier in the relationship, and she's meant to outshine the guy. I know some people aren't going to like the sound of that, but that's that old school thinking that I guess I still have. It's an old school thought. What say you?
Yeah.
Should a man be in competition with a woman?
No. Nah, you don't have to. Like, the woman's with you. You already did something good to make her want to be with you. You don't got to do all that extra stuff.
Because men get a lot of pride in having a woman that is well put together, looks beautiful, and all the rest of that.
Gets hit on all the time.
But I'm saying it's like, that's kind of like their thing, right? So if you try to outshine the woman and you get more attention than her, not a lot of women are going to feel feminine in that space. Yeah. If he were doing that, I'm already, because I was a New Yorker and a Londoner, I'm already far too much into my masculine energy. If I was competing with him to get attention, to see who outshines who, that would keep me more into my masculine energy when I'm deliberately wanting to be in my feminine energy. Does that make sense? And I can only be in my feminine energy if you're not trying to compete with me as the male. Does that make sense to anyone out there?
Yep.
Let us know.
Yeah. I mean, he's flexing though. He got the house, he got the Tesla,
and that's great.
SUV.
Yeah.
With the butterfly doors.
Right.
And he was like, well, should I wear it? Rolex or that? I was like, but I think some of his a generational thing too, because a lot of the art of being manly is really being taken away, like on an everyday level. It's been more and more bad to be a man.
Are you guys paying attention? Do you see what's happening in the schools? We won't get into it, but I'm just asking you to open your eyes and your ears. Did you see what's happening with the Supreme Court? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's like under, being masculine is under attack, being what they call it, toxic masculinity, narcissist, all that stuff. Man, that's just it's old words that came back in modern times to help spread the agenda. But anyway, we getting on a tangent. Let's go.
Before we leave the tangent, I just want us to the people that we're speaking to. It's been a particular way from the beginning of time. That does not mean that there isn't room for improvement and tweaks. But how do you expect us as a species to continue to procreate with what's currently happening right now? Seriously, think about it.
Yeah, procreation was on the attack too.
Because of what's happening.
Because now men apparently can be pregnant and have kids.
So I'm just saying. I'm just saying you have to also again, if we're going to compare ourselves to the animal kingdom, I'm not saying that there wasn't toxicity in the way that things were as a patriarchy, etc. I'm not saying that there's not room for tweaks and amendments, but just understand that what we're doing is primarily led by the ego, because were it not for the mind and the ego, we would be animals, and animals simply don't do this kind of stuff, and they don't have, as a result, depression, anxiety. They're able to access sleep, they eat what they're supposed to. Do you know what I mean? So we have created nothing short of hell on earth with some of the things that we're currently entertaining and moving towards, just for the sake of generalizing and saying that masculine energy is all toxic and whatever, what have you. There are issues with the patriarchy, trust me. I'm the first person to vocalize. But what's being proposed right now and what's being done, to me, is simply not a way to, it's not life affirming. I'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm. If you believe that we're going to be able to procreate as a species for the next 100, 200, 300, 400 years, the way that we're moving mad right now, okay. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
All right, so they end on Kobe and Emily. They just struggling with the situation of the little Kobe in the bed in between them, and he's trying to get his hands on the titty, and so is Kobe. But Kobe is drinking. He's having supper, a late night snack every night, and Kobe is getting tired of it. And she banished. Can you believe she kicked the man out of his bed and made him sleep in the other room? It's like, this is already, like, this is precursor to what's gonna happen. Like, she feels she's in control. Like, she has her chip, which is baby. That's her power play. She knows how much this man gets emotional over the kid and how much he wants to be a father, how much he loves the son, and she gonna be able to use that against him to control him and control his behavior. She's even telling him that he's distracting their bedtime routine. Like, this is supposed to be your husband. Y'all need to be on his routine for the bedtime. Put the kid in his crib. Like, I didn't even see a crib. I didn't see a baby. I just see a bassinet, a pen, a crib, a bed. I didn't see nothing. Like, she didn't even have that. Like, the parents are so involved in this thing, they didn't even get the child a crib. I don't know, maybe it's there, we didn't see it, but from what we see on the screen, none of that's there. So that's it for this episode. You got any last words about this episode?
If you want to keep your husband, you need to tend to your husband, because that child will grow up eventually, leave the nest, and live his own life.
Yeah, she gonna drive this man away.
Your children are not your property.
And I'm sure she ain't the only white girl who likes black men in that town.
Right. but because there aren't many. But no, but the moral of the story is truly is that like I think, you know, sometimes as first time moms, it's easy to probably lose sight of the fact that your child is here for a season. It's a long season, right? But eventually you had a child so that they could go out and live their own lives. They are not going to be tethered to you always. Your partner in life is your husband. So if you want to keep him, find a way to tend to both. I'm not saying prioritize your husband and neglect your child. I'm saying find a way to make them both.
She got to learn these skills.
Yeah, you have to learn to balance it. So.
And you know, just being there with the parents, she's getting it wrong. Like she's not getting corrected by anybody, and he's trying to correct her, and you know what he feels. You know how he wants to run his family. You know, but it's gonna be a tug of war. It's gonna be a power
tug
play.
Tug of breastises.
Yeah, breastises gonna be tug. Hither and thither.
Kobe. What's the kid's name?
Kobe.
Kobe.
Father's Kobe. Yeah. All right, so I would rate this about 5.
Yeah, definitely a 5.
All right, so until next time, we'll see y'all for episode 5. And last words.
Get free and stay free.
Stay decent, folks.
Toodles.
Oops.